Here and Now, the program featuring the news and interests of the African American community. Here's your host, Sandra Bookman.
Coming up on this half-hour edition of Here and Now, with the 2024 presidential election less than 10 days away, how the Win with Black Women Network is working to get out the vote. The voice behind the podcast assuring voters that Vice President Kamala Harris is up to the challenge. And Dear America, a letter from Black women, the new documentary highlighting the pivotal role Black women have played in American politics. That's all ahead on Here and Now. Analysts say the political power of Black women is a driving force in the 2024 presidential election. The hashtag Win with Black Women Network has been a major factor, leading the charge in raising millions of dollars for Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign and galvanizing tens of thousands of voters. With us today is co-convener and lead organizer of Win with Black Women, attorney Holly Holiday, and Lisa Durden, an ABC News contributor and host and producer of the podcast Vice President Kamala Harris, She Ready? Thank you, ladies, for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Lisa, how do you keep a straight face with her?
It's hard.
How do you get any work done?
Well, she does a lot of work now.
Yeah,
Don't
she
get it
does.
twisted, but the straight face is the problem.
Okay. Stop telling on me. Stop telling on me.
Okay, she does the work. Holly, look, you broke the internet, essentially, when you guys convened on that one Zoom call.
So the Zoom call itself was 44,000 just above. But the untold story, the behind-the-scenes stories, is that the women who were having issues getting on got ingenious. And so they activated conference call lines. They had us on Clubhouse. Someone was ingenious and found StreamYard and broadcasted to the internet. So at the end of the day, when we went back and looked at all the other sources, it was actually over 90,000.
Which is just fantastic.
Crazy. Yeah.
And how do you explain that kind of turnout and willingness to be a part of this campaign?
Yeah, so I think you have to understand that Win with Black Women actually started in August of 2020. And so we had been laying the foundation for this moment that we didn't know was going to happen. We thought it might be 2027, 2028 when we would get the nod. So we've been prepping for it for a minute. But I think the volume, we have to thank media. We have to thank Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who just so happened to be booked on media that day and started talking about how she was going to be on the call. And she went on several outlets. And then next thing you know, meanwhile, the rest of us that are planning for the call, we're just trying to change our agenda up because we had been planning for a whole Biden thing. And then that day, it's a whole Kamala thing. So we were scurrying just to get the people reorientated.
Yeah.
So we had no clue that it was going to happen. But luckily, the practice that we'd had for the last 3.5 years before that, we got ready.
And how much money did that call make, and how much have you managed to make since the race?
So shout out to Star Jones, who has always, as part of the Brown Girls Fundraising Collective, has always been our engine to raise money on behalf of candidates. She was able to get the number, because of course, now you had to switch. There's all these things that have to happen. But she wasn't able to get it till about 11 o'clock. So we kept the ladies on, stretching? I don't know if you've ever had to do it, but stretching. We were stretching, and in about 90 minutes or so, we went from pretty much zero to 1.4 million.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yes, about 100 minutes, we said.
So people were all in.
Oh, they were all in from the beginning. And I think that at that time, you mentioned enthusiasm. I think at that time it was an important show of enthusiasm for folks to know that it was going to be okay. Because I think immediately when you hear the news about the switch, people's first emotion was uncertainty. So I think having a group, any group, thank God it was us, we're excited to have been the ones, to say, no, this is a good thing, we can do it, I think it made a difference.
Well, not to mention that Black women have essentially been the
Pretty
not
much.
so secret weapon in the engine
Pretty
of the
much.
Democratic Party for decades now.
Listen, exactly.
Lisa, I want to bring
Yes.
you into the conversation because you've created this podcast, Vice President Kamala Harris, She Ready, which sounds exactly like you.
She ready.
So what's the main focus of the podcast, and how are you hoping it's going to, galvanize people?
Yeah.
I guess not only educate them more about her career, and what she brings to the table, but also get them to the polls on Election Day.
Well, when we heard in July that she was going to take over the mantle and she's running for president, I heard all this chatter about she's not ready and what has she done as the vice president and all of this misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So I was angry. I wrote a think piece, girl, and it made people think. I had all the elements in there and all the receipts. And then something said, you need a podcast. Vice President Kamala Harris, She Ready, the podcast. I named it after the same think piece. So I went about developing it in August and I dropped it in September. What did I want people to learn? I wanted them to learn about the things that they claimed they didn't know. Oh, you don't know who she is? Let's talk about it in the podcast. Oh, you don't know what she did? You thought she, put black men in jail? She did not. Let's talk about what she did as an AG, as a prosecutor, as a district attorney, and as a senator, and as vice president. So each week I have a rotating panel of guests who are from different worlds, music, politics, and in between, lawyers, to talk about these elements along the way. So that if you claim you don't know and you're too lazy to do the research, we've done it for you. You can come every week to find out little things you need to know about Kamala Harris. And listen, we know that people who are already all in with Kamala Harris are all in. I want people who are in the middle, the people who are not trying to vote for either one, the ones who are kind of like, I'm undecided, to now decide on something, right? They say, educate yourself. Vice President Kamala Harris, She Ready, the podcast, you will get educated. So I wanted to do all that for you, but I also wanted to be a place where you can actually have discourse because, politics is so, polarizing. We can't disagree anymore. So we don't have to always agree. And I always say, Christopher Kallstrom, my moderator, said, listen, anybody who wants to come in here and have a comment, we just don't want MAGA maniacs and MAGA monsters. But please do come in and share because we can't be afraid of disagreement.
Yeah.
So I love that. So you can come in and also dialogue in the comments. So that's what I wanted it to do in real time, live, not recorded. It's live every week on a Wednesday on YouTube. And we do take, don't we, everyone? And let me tell you something, girl. I had to stalk my girl. I said, I'm stalking Holly because I'm like, what? They did what? So I had to stalk her, but I'm a nice stalker. I'm pretty nice.
You're a good stalker.
I am the self-professed follow-up queen. So I got her on there. I want people to know I was serious about it. And I brought people on like Holly Holiday, people on like, we have another guy coming on who's, we talk about Project 2025. We have a guy that's coming on talking about Project Freedom that he created, and we're going to talk about that. This is the offset of that and what we can now put together for those things. So not just what she's doing, but what we want her to do when she gets in office.
Exactly.
The policies we're going to try to hold her to, and all of the things. And we talked about the DNC. We talked about
You want
the
to
debate.
educate people.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you guys, because there's been a lot of look. We kind of know where a lot of black women stand, and they're all in. They're going to do the work as they've always done. They're going to be there on Election Day. But there's been a lot of conversations about black men.
Yes.
Are they going to vote for Kamala Harris? A certain number of
Are they
voting
gonna
for
stay
President Trump, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Just talk to me a little bit about that. That was an interview, I think, recently, Charlemagne, the God's interview. Just talk to me about that conversation and your, where we are with that. Are we where are we? Are we going to get black men to the polls at all, let alone who they're going to vote for, but getting them out to the polls?
Yeah, I think we are going to have black men out to the polls, and I think
in significant
Absolutely.
numbers.
Absolutely.
You think it's been blown out of
numbers.
proportion?
I don't think it's been. I think of parts of it, right, have been blown out of proportion. So I'm going to take the middle ground here. I think, first of all, what hasn't gotten the play that it needs to get, the air is the fact that we have amazing black men who have been and are continuing to serve in key leadership roles. And somehow the message on, as they say, the rise of black women, which is interesting to me, but has gotten lost, that's because black men are already there.
That's
correct.
correct.
We have a black man who is the chair of the Democratic National Committee. We have more black men serving in Congress than we have black women. We have more black men mayors. We have so black men are there and have been serving and will continue to serve. And I think now that there is, especially this week, that intentional effort to remind people that they are part of the service history, that they are part of the dialogue, we're going to see a lot more black men come out to vote.
And I think there's misinformation happening. Let's be very clear. 80-something% of black men voted for Biden. Those same 80-something% are going to vote for Kamala Harris. But we don't talk about how 40 or 30% of white women voted for Donald Trump. Right? A large bastion of Latinos voted for Donald Trump. So those are the factions of people we need to be worried about. So don't come after black men as if we don't vote solely for this population. White women, Latino men, Asian people are the ones who voted for Donald Trump in large number, and they'll do it again. In fact, black women and black men, between the two of us, the only reason why Biden won was because of us, because most whites did not vote for them. And once again, the only reason why Kamala Harris is going to win is because black women and men will be voting for them. So 80% of black men, let me say it again, vote for Kamala Harris and people like that. So what we need to do is now try to figure out that small faction, that 12 to 15%. How do you get them? I love what she's doing. She dropped a piece of what she's going to do for black men, a black men plan. She's now saying, let me earn your vote for that small number who's not going to do it. She's now said, I'm going to do these things for you. It's on her website. Check it out. So she knows that you still can't overlook that small faction, but she wants to let them know, I'm going to earn your vote. And I don't feel you should just get my vote.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's what she's doing, and I think it's effective.
So I guess the question is, based on what you've said about the people that voted another way in the previous election, what does she need to do to appeal to some of those people who had been Trump voters?
I like what she said. I like what she said in the debate. She said in the debate, Donald Trump, 81 million people fired you. So she should be going after the 81 million people who fired him, and she'll be good.
All right.
I think
that's simple math.
That's
pretty much.
Math.
I'm not that smart.
Yeah, I think we are going to see an increase in the number of people who vote. So I think she's going to need a few more than 80 million.
Okay.
That's a good place to start.
Okay.
Great place to start. Certainly is a positive base. I think ultimately what she is doing and needs to do more of is meet people where they are.
I agree.
You know, I think she's starting to do that. I mean, when have you seen a president, an active sitting vice president, and active presidential candidate meeting with Charlemagne the God? I mean,
of all people,
of all the people,
right.
and I'm not disparaging him, but I'm saying she's going to the unusual places.
Joe Rogan, she's supposed to be going on Joe Rogan's show.
She's not just doing the traditional. She's going to where she knows people might be listening.
And is she on the right? For these last few weeks before people head to the polls, you feel like she's on the right track?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, there are always going to be those places where I was like, I wish she could have. This might be a miss. But ultimately, her strategy is on the right track. And I think she's hitting as many places as she needs to. And I love that she's now also being more active in invoking surrogates. I'm excited to see where Clinton's going, where Obama's going, where some of our celebrity folks are going. And I think that's just as important.
And I think that people are paying too much attention to her gracing these media platforms. I like her stomping out on the trail. I like her going to physically those battleground states doing rallies. Get out there to the people. I love media. I'm in the media. I'm a journalist, okay? But I want to see you places. I like that she was in Carolina. I like that she was in Pennsylvania. I like that she was in Georgia. I need you to reach the people. So to me, that's a perfect balance. Her campaign to me is a perfect storm. But I would like to say this. you know, people can't get satisfied with black women. First, she wasn't going to enough media. Then she wasn't doing this. It's never satisfied itis, and it's a nothing burger. Actually, she's doing what she has to do to make it work. So for me, I'm like a street kind of girl. I want to see you. I want to see your face in the place.
Yeah.
So now she's making a difference face to face, and we can see that she's actually saying, I want to earn your vote.
And concerns from either you about turnout? Because it's always important, but it is especially important in an election that is expected to be as close as this one.
Yeah, I mean, turnout is a thing. Polls are a thing, and we do have to be very concerned about turnout. And what I'd say, and this is where I think black women are going to play an even more unique role, is because we're not just interested in our vote, we're trying to figure out how to be the force multiplier.
Right.
And so, you know, before it was how do we get us out. Now is how to get everybody out. And so we are doing a lot of things to make sure that we're not just taking ourselves, but we're taking our network. And here's the thing, as quiet as it's kept, black women don't just lead ourselves. We don't just lead communities. We lead everywhere.
Right.
You know, you're seeing the explosion of black women's leadership in almost every industry, and it is not on accident. So we'll be hopefully leading a lot of those folks right to the polls.
I'm not as scared of turnout as I am of Donald Trump. Donald Trump has said, if I don't win, it's going to be a civil war. So I'm afraid that when she wins, Kamala Harris, she's ready to the podcast. When she wins, is there going to be a war? I'm afraid of that war because Donald Trump has always kept his promise to harm. So on election day or whenever they count all the votes, I'm worried that it's going to be a war because he didn't want to hand over the keys to the White House the last time. What's going to happen this time? He actually created an insurrection. What's going to happen when a black woman beats the pants off of you, beats the brakes off of you? Are you going to hurt us? He said it's going to be a civil war. And all of the little megalomaniacs and the MAGA monsters are ready, willing, and able. That scares me, not the turnout, because we're gonna be all in for Kamala Harris, but he scares me, and that's just Lisa. And I'm from Newark. It takes a lot to scare me, you know.
But I think first things first, you got to get people out to the polls.
Correct.
And deal with whatever the fallout may or may not be.
That's true.
There are a couple of things I want to say to people. Hashtag Win with Black Women.
Yes.
winwithblackwomen.org to find out more information, how you can be involved in these last crucial weeks, and youtube.com/@LisaDurden/podcast, which she has effectively promoted during this entire interview. So thank you both.
Thank you so much.
This afternoon. I
That
am
was so great.
fired up. I feel
too.
like I need to be doing
I
something.
love it.
Listen,
Thank
we
you so
appreciate
much.
you. We appreciate your hard work and
Thank
your
you so much.
efforts. And
Thank
it's
you.
important. Whichever way you're going to cast your ballot, I can't tell you where, but you need to be casting a ballot in November.
Absolutely.
Thank you
I
very
agree.
much.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.